Hello everybody, Epic Mewtwo aka Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another Dragon Ball figure news video. I guess technically. We're going to be covering a bunch of fun stuff today. I do want to say before we get into it, I do apologize if the audio quality sounds a little bit on this video. I'm not at my normal filming location at the moment, so I apologize if the audio doesn't sound as good as it normally does, but just bear with me for this one. Let's go ahead and hop into it. So we are going to start off on DBZ figures as we usually do, and then we will go take a look at Baggy's Twitter. There's actually been quite a lot of stuff that has come out in the world of Dragon Ball figure news since our last video with Gogeta in the thumbnail. First of all, these stupid Trunks figures have been released. We've talked about these in a couple of past figure news videos. The Fubi, I believe is how you say the name of these figures. Basically, they are giant, expensive, dumb looking figures. I want to report on them just because I think that, reporting on stuff like this is still interesting, because it's interesting to see everything that comes out of the world of Dragon Ball figures. So I like to report on them, and it's also a good, way to show you that they make good stuff, and they also make some kind of stinky type of stuff. So as you can see there, this Trunks is 25 centimeters, right? That means that this guy is about 10 inches tall, which is crazy because that means that he's really big. My man is going to cost $105, and apparently is releasing in November. I don't know anybody who collects this line, I'm going to be honest. Personally, it's not for me, and I don't think it looks the best. I mean, I know that they're big, and that's why they cost a lot, and they're very wide as well, but I don't know. Personally, for me, I'm just not really a fan. But hey, if you want it, definitely go ahead and look out for it. Now, we do have some news on the S.H.Figuarts Kid Goku. We did talk about this, I believe, in a figure news video a little while ago. As you can see on the website here, they do say we had reported that the Tamashii Features 2020 would be recycling the S.H.Figuarts Kid Goku exclusive Comic-Con San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, rather. At the time, it was unclear as to whether or not this was exclusive, would feature its own unique packaging to differentiate from the SDC release. SDCC rather. Well, it would turn out that the Tamashii Feature exclusive will be getting its own unique packaging. So very, very cool. The exclusive Kid Goku figure will be available in the Tamashii Soul web shop, retailing about $40, which is marginally cheaper than we've seen in price across third-party websites, so that's good. Like they were talking about here, this guy was a exclusive, quote-unquote. Obviously, he's not that exclusive now because, well, they're re-releasing him, but he did not have a proper box, it seems, upon his initial release. So, or rather, a new box, I guess. He's getting a new box. I'm sorry, I'm recording this video very late, and I've had a long week, so just bear with me here. But regardless, though, he's getting a new box for the exclusive one, so that is pretty cool. I will say, even though then it kind of stinks for everybody who had this guy and was like, oh, he's kind of limited, I guess it's better that he's more readily available. Moving on, we did have the S.H.Figuarts Jeice. Apparently, he has a release date, which will be December 2020, retailing for about $60. No pictures yet, as this news is pretty fresh. Very, very cool to hear that, though. Obviously, the Ginyu Force has been working through getting their members into S.H.Figuarts form. We've already had third-party companies making versions of these guys, funny enough, because it took Tamashii so long to make S.H.Figuarts versions of them. But very, very cool to hear that Jeice is going to be getting his own S.H.Figuarts figure. Now, this is something else that I wanted to talk about as well that I felt like was really cool. If you guys remember way back, it might have been like 2 or 3 figure news videos ago, we talked about how Goku had a contest in Japan for what fans' favorite outfit for Goku was, and it, everything but his normal gi, right? And basically the gist of that was that outfit would be made into a figure. And we actually do have the results to that contest. We actually have the Japanese website right here, and you may have saw it by a little preview on the other website, but it looks like Goku in the casual clothes from the Cell games is the winner, which is actually pretty exciting because personally for me, this is actually my favorite outfit for Goku, funny enough, besides you know, his normal one and a couple of other ones. I may have even actually said this in that video. You have to go back and take a look at it, but I'm very happy about this because I've wanted a full-size figure of this form of Goku for a while. I don't know if the figure is going to look exactly how this image looks, but it will be very cool to see a full-size, or I guess a prize figure size Goku in this outfit. We do have, as you can see, there you go, it says it's going to be released in 2021. Very cool. We do have the other outfits here and how they placed, determined by the vote. As you can see, the armored Goku did come in second place, which is kind of interesting because even though that's obviously not an outfit that we see Goku in often, it is still kind of like a pretty standard outfit for the series, you know, obviously being Vegeta wearing that outfit all the time. So it's kind of interesting that that's everyone's second favorite outfit for Goku. That's something that's kind of generic, but I guess it makes sense because it's like we literally never see him in it. Third place being Yardrat Goku, 100% understandable. That outfit on Goku is fire, even if he has Master Roshi's glasses or not. Number 4 was the outfit that he wore when I believe that was when he was almost at the Tournament of Power. Oh my gosh, when he was coming back for a World Tournament. They did also make a figure out of this during one of the past World Figure Coliseum, so that's very cool. Number 5 was Wedding Goku, which is actually pretty happy to see, or at least the white wedding suit. Funny enough, then 6th was Kid Goku and 7th was Wedding Goku, but the different outfit. So very, very funny. I'll scroll through the rest of these here for you. We won't go through all of them in too much detail. But very, very nice to see that because honestly, I didn't think that the one that I wanted was gonna win. I'm gonna be honest. I did not anticipate that my boy Cell Games Goku would be the victor here, but I am quite happy about it because I do really like this outfit on him. So very excited to see how the figure looks for that. I just figured it'd be interesting to kind of go a little bit in depth and show you about that. Oh, I'm very excited to show you some more Gogeta pictures because boy, they are amazing. Now, the Maximatic 3 Goku did release apparently this is a new series from Empresto with a large size and dramatic shading. 25 centimeters is the size. I believe that was the size of Trunks as well, so that's like 10 oh, it says right there 10 inches. The figures can only be found at game centers in Japan from Claw Grabber's machine, just like the rest of the prize figures, or you can buy them at, you know, what else. So basically he's just talking about how the figure is a little bit bigger than the average prize figure, which is nice to see because we don't tend to get super big figures. And look at that, Jeice, we're going to get pictures of in a second. But oh my gosh, I am excited to show you these pictures. Wow. These are dope. So let's take a look at what we have on the text section of this. Premium Bandai announced a pre-order for 2 new figures today, including the previous reported Jeice, as well as the sculpture Figure Art Zero from, or featuring Super Saiyan Gogeta from the 15th movie. Wow. Also, I wonder if this is the 15th statue from Figure Art Zero. Interesting. Very, very cool. The statue retails for $78, not including tax and shipping, and will release in January 2021. Gogeta and Jeice will both be the 4th and 5th figure release from Premium Bandai. Right, because before, if you're unaware, Premium Bandai is basically a service that you have to subscribe to be able to get figures. I know it's kind of dumb, but recently they brought it over to the States, and I don't believe it's a subscription-based service anymore. I'm not positive on that. I'll have to look into it because I am planning on getting this Gogeta to replace a current Gogeta figure that I have because this guy is just so cool. I can't pass him up. But without further ado, let's go ahead and show you Pikkon. I will avenge you. I am neither Goku nor Vegeta. I'm the guy who's going to stop you. I don't think that's the exact line, but nonetheless, this is basically the picture that we saw already. It looks really cool. I like how they let up the ball. But let's take a better look at the figures. Standing with an impressive 11-inch tall with effect parts, captures the moment of the birth of Super Saiyan Gogeta. So here is where things get real cool. Floating rocks and special effects capture the dynamic scene from Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn. We have a lot clearer image there of the, almost called the Soul Breaker. I combined the names. The Soul Punisher. It looks pretty good. Again, I really like how they did it to give it the floating effect. They didn't just stick a stick from his hand to the ball. They put it where the effect piece is holding it up, which gives it the illusion that it's floating, which is very nice. They also did that with the rocks too. We also have a close-up of Gogeta, which is very nice. Closed skin and other parts modeled with fine textures and luxurious realistic appearance. Very, very cool. This guy looks fantastic. As you can see, the base here as well is something else I wanted to look at. The stone setting of the scene is sculpted and painted in realistic detail. That actually does look really, really good for a rock base. I love that we actually have another angle here, because arguably this angle is better in my opinion. A super realistic portrayal of Gogeta's dramatic scene in Fusion Reborn. Look at that face, bro. That is nice. That is very, very nice. Again, wow, okay, modeled on the scene's appearance with special effects that look different from any angle. That'll be really interesting to see. Okay, that's cool. I'm glad that they took the time to make the Soul Punisher look very, very nice. The ultimate Gogeta is here. This is a very, very nice angle. So this also kind of gives us a better look at how they're going to be handling the ball. I will say it does look a little bit weird with that random like power flare at the top there. It isn't the worst thing, and again, I think it's so much better than them just sticking a pole out of his hand, especially with how they did the halo. The halo meshes very, very nice into the sculpt. But man, I am super, super excited about this. I only own one Figuarts Zero figure at the moment, and honestly, even though they are a little bit more expensive than normal price figures, I think they are 100% worth it, because they're just such high quality and they always do a fantastic job with them. So props to Gogeta, props to the team over at Tamashii for this one. Very, very excited for this guy in the January 2021 release. A couple of other things before we move on to the Boy Baggy's Twitter. We do have S.H.Figuarts Jeice with pictures now, which is very cool. He does look very, very nice. I have talked about my gripes with S.H.Figuarts before, as much as I do love the line here on this series and on this channel before. But I think that they did a great job with Jeice. The Scouter case and 2-star Namekian and Dragon Ball set are included. Very, very cool. So obviously now we have Ginyu and Jeice. We can kind of assume that they're going to make them all. Spoilers, we're getting to Birder later. But very, very cool that they included his Kurashabaru, his final attack. Crusher Ball is included. This is also a super, super cool accessory. Goku head as changed by Ginyu is included. I love the English there, but basically this is obviously Goku Ginyu, right? Very, very cool that they included this extra head. This means too that if you just have any standard Goku basically, or I mean I guess you would probably want the Dragon Ball Z Goku, you can literally just pop off his head and slap this one on there if you get Jeice, which is really, really cool. And there you go. You can see that the rest of the Ginyu Force is going to be coming for S.H.Figuarts because they're highlighted right there, bro. But yeah, there you go. As they note here, Son Goku, a Saiyan raised on Earth, is sold separately. But very, very cool. You can pre-order Jeice, and Ginyu is coming out in August. I will say the one thing that I have a problem with, because I think generally the sculpt looks pretty good, his hair does look a little bit off. I guess it kind of stays in that same like form or like way that it's shaped throughout the entirety of Z that he's in, but it still looks a little bit weird as one piece. I don't necessarily know how they would make that like softer plastic or something that you could articulate. It kind of just looks like it's going to be a big piece that can go up and down, but it's not bad, honestly. And I think that the sculpting on the hair as well looks very nice. I will say I don't remember what the briefcase is from. I know it's something from that scene in the Frieza saga, but very, very cool nonetheless. I'm glad that they're finally getting to the Ginyu Force. And oh, what's this? We have more Ginyu Force pictures. What? So as you can see here, Tamashii Nations reported via their official Japanese website that a virtual reality event called Tamashii Nations Featured 2020 will be taking place on July 4th and 5th. Obviously that is past now. We're going to talk about some of that information now. The event features a slogan, "Now is the time to enjoy figures at home." Thank you, Tamashii. I love you, bro. Appears to be replacing the person version of Tamashii Features Annual Festival in Akihabara. Obviously due to COVID, unfortunately. Now the event is upon us, reveals information that has been made available. The first and most important reveal is the Ginyu Force display. As you can see, the photos below from Genki Hobby have prototype versions of every member of the Ginyu Force. However, it would appear that Goldo is still in the earliest stage of prototype process, as he is lacking articulation. So very, very cool to see. Obviously, Ginyu and Jeice are going to be the ones that are the most complete. Ooh, I see a little Bardock there. These guys look really, really good, though. Obviously, S.H.Figuarts is always top quality stuff. And they always look great. Here's Birder, though. He looks very good. He has a super long neck, and he is very chonky, but that is the shape of Birder's body. So I do really like as well how long the shoulder pads are. Again, it fits Birder very well, because obviously it makes sense for him. Raccoon looks, wow, actually Raccoon might be my favorite one. That's pretty cool. I do really like the look of Raccoon there. Obviously, again, keep in mind, these are all just A, prototypes, and B, one pose that we're looking at for these figures. So keep in mind that this is subject to change. This does look like, interesting, so this doesn't even look like a separate piece. This looks like it comes off of Jeice's head, and it's just stuck like that. It'll be interesting to watch some reviews of this figure and see how that looks. I don't know if I like his inner joint here being the color of his body. I would think it would look better in a black tone so that it would match his clothing, but I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking that. And then as you can see, Goldo has no articulation there, so he's just kind of, there for example, and he will eventually have it. Additionally, the show featured a display of the recently released S.H.Figuarts Bardock, which was announced on this past Father's Day. This guy looks really, really good. I am personally very, very excited for this figure. I don't know when I'm going to pick it up. By the way, drink water. I don't know when I'm eventually going to pick it up, because I would definitely like to get this guy. He is super, super cool. I did think about, funny enough, before S.H.Figuarts announced that they were making one, I almost got the figurized one, but I do like this one a lot. He looks really good. There are some things that I could say about him, but I'll keep it to myself for now. The last display of note I want to talk about is the Figuarts Zero Gogeta. We talked about this already, so and we obviously looked at that. We have some in-person pictures. Oh boy, I am very, very excited to look at these. Obviously, we were just gushing about the promo images for Gogeta. Again, keep in mind, these aren't necessarily the highest quality, because they are, kind of far away shots that are just zoomed in. And obviously, if they were captured from a live stream, then, the quality is reduced even more. This does look pretty good. Obviously, again, no figure looks as pretty as the promo images. But this guy looks really, really good still. I will say it looks a lot more orange on the tip, and the whole thing looks, or on the edges rather, of the key. And the whole key looks a little bit more orange. I do really love the color of the rocks. I think Gogeta's body sculpt is fantastic. His face sculpt, from what we can tell here, also looks really, really good. Excuse me. And the ball, they are right about that. I guess we're kind of looking at it from the same angle, but you can really tell from like this picture and this picture, it does look pretty different when you look at it like that. So it'll be interesting to see this figure in person. Again, remember, this should be, let's read this again. This is, we're not sure if this is the final version, I think, because it could be a prototype. I assume it's going to be the final one, though, since they had all of those images. But if they don't state it, then I suppose there's really no way to know. But anyway, he does look pretty good. Again, no figure looks as good as the promo images. But I can definitely tell you that the plastic used for the aura definitely looks a lot more clear and translucent, or maybe it's just more reflective on the promo image. His hair also is a completely different color than the promo image. It's a lot more of a darker yellow than it is on the normal figure. I do kind of like the color on the normal figure actually a little bit more, because I feel like it fits with Gogeta a little bit more. And obviously this is taken in a little bit of a darker space, so keep that in mind as well. But It does look like there is some shading on the hair, and it kind of looks like that's not there as much anymore, which is kind of unfortunate. It is still there a little bit, but it's not to the degree of how this image is here. Again, we don't have this specific angle, so we'll have to see if the ball actually does look like that from the side. But I am probably still going to get this figure just because I really would like to see it in person. And again, I plan on replacing a current figure that I have with him. Now, moving on, the final two things that we have from the DBZ Figures website, and will be kind of the majority of the new stuff, besides just releases and all that. During the virtual Funimation Con going on today and tomorrow, spoiler alert, that was a couple days ago, Tamashii revealed figures that would have been convention exclusive this year, but anyone can pre-order from July 18th through the 31st on Premium Bandai's website, so you don't have to attend a convention because, well, there are no I almost said person in conventions this year. Thank you, brain. No in-person conventions this year. Here's what was revealed. Very cool to see this. A UI sign Goku. Obviously, he is kind of basic, I guess. It's a little bit harder to do an articulated figure of something like UI, because it's a lot harder to capture the specific hair details of the coloring on it, and not to mention the aura is such a big part of UI Goku that it doesn't feel as, like, I don't know, maybe as UI Goku as it could, but it definitely doesn't look bad by any means. Again, it is just an event exclusive color version, so it's not meant to be, you know, like a full release. It is just a recolor. But nonetheless, though, it still does look really good. I do like his eyes. I will say his face does look a little bit odd. But nonetheless, definitely not a bad looking figure, especially if you really like UI Omen. This was also really cool. So they are going to be remaking with this, and I'll get to that in a second, Android 18. As you can see, there is a event exclusive color version and a version of Android 17 as well. Now, what's so cool about this is that Android 17 and 18 are pretty old S.H.Figuarts figures now. They were, I believe, they used like the first set of joints that S.H.Figuarts figures used, and they are like dumb expensive. I'm not sure the exact resale value of them nowadays, but they are really expensive. And the fact that they're remaking them is awesome, because obviously you'll be able to get them, for a lower price, and they look absolutely fantastic, obviously, again, with updated S.H.Figuarts joints and all that jazz. So very cool to see all of that. A very cool as well S.H.Figuarts stand, kind of pricey, being around 50 bucks, but I do like the Dragon Ball on the bottom, and it looks like it is actually going to be metal, so that's cool. And I don't know if you get all of these Dragon Balls in there. I kind of assume that you do. That is pretty cool, though. That is pretty dope. I like that a lot, actually. Moving on, we did have two more statues revealed. A special color version of the Figuarts Zero Super Saiyan Broly. Before, this guy did not have the green hair rockin'. He was Super Saiyan Broly, if I'm not mixing up my figures here. But regardless, though, lots of green on here. Of course, I don't think that the actual green lighting will be present on the figure, but still very cool nonetheless. I was never too big of a fan of the original version of this figure, just because I think his face looks kind of goofy. I'm gonna be honest. He's definitely not bad, though, and if you're looking for a statue of Broly, he is definitely not a bad pick as well. Again, keep in mind, right, he is also, you know, has a giant effect piece on him. Yeah, the original version of this figure had a more lime green color to the hair, and it wasn't as like deep green. I don't really know how to describe this color of green, but it was a lot more lime green than what it is now, and this looks a lot closer to the original. And as well, probably what I'm most excited for that came out of all of this, which I believe should be next. What was that? Hey, that's right, baby. We got Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. Now, this is a recolor of the original Figuarts Zero Super Saiyan Vegito, but personally, I think he looks really good. I really like this figure as it is. I do think that the face is a little bit goofy. They've definitely gotten better when it comes to... Oh, it's just the same image 4 times. Okay, cool. They've definitely gotten better at making Figuarts Zero figures since these figures, but I do think this looks really good, and honestly, this face, even though it looks a little bit goofy, it's still pretty cool. I might end up picking up this figure, not too sure yet though. It's not on the top of my list, so probably not. But very, very cool to see that it is getting a Super Saiyan Blue re-release, and the hair looks fantastic. It almost gives off that effect of being translucent, even though it's not actually translucent, but it is a very nice metallic blue. I very, very much like that color. That was everything from the Tamashii exclusives, from what would have been their convention exclusive figures. Very, very cool stuff revealed this year. Obviously, it's nice to get recolors of some older stuff, and that is usually what they do for convention exclusives, so it's not surprising that it wasn't anything like brand new. But hey, you know, it's cool. I like it. It's always good to give other forms as well representation when it's kind of easy to make. Now, we will talk about this a little bit later, but we will go over it now since it is here on the DBZ Figures website. Depending on your perspective, November will be subjected or treated to another Super Dragon Ball Heroes Kuji. A lot of people, unfortunately, do not like the Super Dragon Ball Heroes Kujis. I personally am a fan of them because I am a nerd for Super Dragon Ball Heroes, so I'm always excited for them. I know a lot of other people aren't, but hey, I'll take what I can get. We take dubs out here. Well, I don't have an angel. So basically, this guy's just talking about how the first time ever some of these figures will be getting figures. As you can expect, a Japanese release date of November 2020. As these are Kuji figures, they will be made first possible participating convenience stores across Japan. So let's take a look at this image. I guess we could just look at it this way. Yeah, that's fine. So what's going to be in this Kuji? Another Gogeta, oh boy. He doesn't even really look that good, I'm gonna be honest, which is kind of a shame. Obviously we have so many Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta figures now. I remember back when the Broly movie first came out, and I was like, yeah guys, you know, definitely pick up this Gogeta, you know, it's so cool that we finally have one. And now it's like, oh, another Super Saiyan Gogeta, or another Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta rather. Nonetheless though, still very, very cool to be able to get this guy in the Kuji. This guy I'm also super excited for, and will definitely be picking up. Super Saiyan God Trunks. This is the first Kuji / prize full-sized figure of this guy that we have ever gotten, which is really, really cool. I do like this form. I do think it's a little bit goofy looking with the long red god hair, but I do like it a lot. The pose that they pick for this figure as well is super dynamic. I really, really enjoy it, and it looks like the sword is actually very well made as well. Finally, I've been asking for a figure for this guy for a long time. Super Saiyan 4 Broly is finally getting a figure, which is really, really cool. We'll talk about those guys in a second. I'm really, really excited for this guy. I'm going to be honest. Ooh, teaser. Because I've been wanting a figure of this man for a fat minute. So very, very cool. He is also going to be a King Cluster figure. All of these guys are part of the Ichiban Kuji Masterlize line. And they kind of interweave the Masterlize and King Cluster line when it comes to the Ichiban Kujis. But let's see, 30 centimeters, bro, to inches. Wow, that is a foot tall figure. That's pretty crazy. Very, very nice, though. I love what they did with them. The pose is kind of generic, but I suppose it makes sense for Broly. I do like the way that they did the Saiyan fur, and the scars and the veins on his chest look really, really good. So I'm excited for this guy. A new Rose figure. I mean, it is what it is. We have plenty of Rose figures at this point. This guy doesn't even look super good, to be honest. I do like the look of how his hands are, though, I will admit. And unfortunately, another recolor. Oh boy. They are re-releasing the MUI Capsule Corp Goku. This guy kind of already wasn't that great of a figure, unfortunately. And they're just releasing a recolor where his gi is a little bit more shiny. Kind of silly if you ask me, but hey, it is what it is. Now, the star of this set, in my eyes anyway, is the, oh boy, I meme about this guy all the time. Technically not Black Dragon Ball because it's not stuck in his chest, but Dark Super Saiyan Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Time Breaker, I guess not Time Breaker either because he doesn't have the mask. Broly, basically. He is also going to be a foot-tall figure as well. Again, he is the same figure as the Super Saiyan 4 Broly, just in the Dark Broly form. Kind of a shame that they didn't give him all the goods because this Broly, when he's in the Dark Broly form, he gets a black Dragon Ball in his chest. He gets a Time Breaker mask at some point. It's ridiculous. That's why I always like to make the meme of, Time Breaker, full power Super Saiyan 4, Black Dragon Ball, Broly. I think there's another descriptor that you could put in there for him. But nonetheless, though, I am very, very excited that this guy is getting a figure. I'm kind of surprised that they are giving him one, though, because he was a very, one-off kind of character when it came to SDBH. But hey, I'll take it. We'll definitely take these dubs out here, boys. He is also the last prize, or the last one, whatever you want to call it, of the Ichiban Kuji set. So very, very cool to be able to see my boy getting a figure here. Very, very nice. Moving on from DBZ figures, as always, though, before I do, go check them out in the link in the description below. I always link every single website and every single person that I use for these videos in the description. They post awesome Dragon Ball figure news, and I think they do a great job of rounding up the news. There is also the more in-depth stuff that Baggy does, and specific release dates and when stuff comes out in Japan and stuff like that. But for nice summaries of stuff, DBZ figures, they do a great job with there, so definitely go check them out in the description below. Not sponsored, but I would love if I was. Anyway, though, moving on. So our last figure news video was on the 28th. As you can see, we are starting from the 29th. I actually think that there isn't too much to go through. I know I say that every single time, and it's another 20 minutes of figure news, but I think that there's realistically not a lot. Only July date we're waiting for left is the decap 2, but like Chila, it seems like Mega House dates aren't known until the actual month. These are from the decap set, or draw cap. I always just call it decap because it's so much easier to say. These were, I believe, an older figure line that has returned. Regardless, though, they're all minifigures. They're okay. I will say it's kind of unfortunate because this is one of those lines where the production images look pretty cool. I would love to have that Broly, munching on the Vampa spider leg. Obviously that scene with Gogeta and Frieza is absolutely fantastic, and even Goku in the pod is pretty cool, but whenever they come out, the detail on them is pretty awful. So kind of unfortunate, but we will see on them. I will definitely be reporting when we get actual pictures of those, though. Out now for Asia, Hong Kong, Bam Presto, World Figure Coliseum 2, Goku reprint, and then all of the rest of these guys. I'm not going to read them out because we could just look at the pictures. Very, very cool, though. I love seeing this guy get remade because he is a fantastic figure. And then the legendary, don't worry, the review is coming soon, of the Bam Presto World Figure Coliseum End of Z Goku, as well as the Creator X Creator Bardock, which was kind of a disappointment, but we went over that in the last video, and the boy Vegito doing his big old kick. So yeah, very, very cool that those guys got released there. Goku Black is now releasing for the US. That's cool. He is basically the only one from the Dokkan Kuji set that actually looked good, which is really unfortunate, but hey, glad to see that the best one is at least getting a release. Oh yeah, this was Baggy was talking about. We'll throw this in here just because it's interesting. Bills was actually used as an official name on some of this stuff. Very, very interesting. Anyway, though, moving on from that, also Baggy talked about the contest as well, or the poll rather. July HG07 UDM the best 34 finals. As you can see, these are the final images for these figures. These are all minifigures. We've talked about these lines many times on the channel before. Not bad. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend collecting them. I do like the UDMs, but once you have a couple of forms, you've kind of seen them before. And again, when it comes to certain sets, their characters can kind of be a little bit more generic. Like probably the coolest character in here is 21, just because we get these guys all the time, especially Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Goku. All right, moving on. We do have the new July Shikashi art set. These are little art boards that release in Japan. They make a new set of these, I believe, every single month. And basically you pull it out of it's kind of like a card pack, except it's just the one piece of art in there, and you see what you can get. This is pretty cool, though. I do really like seeing these art boards, and they have come a long way with these because they used to just be essentially outlines and whatnot, but now they're doing basically full art prints, and these look really, really good. Probably my favorite one is the Trunks one there. Looks really, really cool. I would actually love to be able to get that one. The Goku one as well is very, very nice as well at the top. But it's always cool to see that they do different stuff with the Shikashi art. They're kind of not afraid to experiment with it. And this is kind of more akin to what they usually do, where they kind of make a basic drawing of the character and then give it some effects and whatnot. But yeah, still cool. Obviously, this is like fusions and Gohan and Broly stuff, so definitely not bad. And then these are the rares for it. I actually really, really like that Gogeta. I don't think I've ever seen that pose for Gogeta before. Interesting. Very, very cool, though. I like that a lot. It's always nice that they put rares in there, because then obviously if you pull it and you're like, whoa, bro, it's so cool. I would recommend, though, if you do want to get yourself any of these, because these do make nice little posters or art pieces on your wall, go look on eBay, because then you don't have to go pulling from a bunch of packs just to see what you get and then get disappointed that you didn't get something that you wanted. Moving on. Only prize figures scheduled for November are the SDBH 10th anniversary UI and Omen. Presumably Omen will be in the Grand Priest uniform. So let's take a look at what we've got here. They have been pumping out some Dragon Ball Heroes 10th anniversary figures, because obviously it is the 10th anniversary of the series this year. And as you can see, Baggy notes that one of these are going to be Omen, which again, we're kind of assuming that it's the Grand Priest outfit, because he wasn't really Omen any other time in the Dragon Ball Heroes anime. But very, very cool. If he does end up getting a full prize figure, I will 100% be getting that, because that form is sick, and I think everybody who's seen it thinks it's sick. Another Dragon Ball wafer set, obviously kind of, makes sense. I love the translations on these, by the way. Selfishness Trillion and Selfishness of Selfishness. Very cool. Google Translate, thank you. And the Super Mecha and Fluffy Dragon Ball plush. Interesting to see what those are going to be for releasing in November. Case orders per store. If you aren't aware of what these are, basically keep in mind that all of these figures are prize figures, so they come out of a crane machine, right? And obviously every place that orders the figures orders them in bulk, and then they just put them in the crane machines. So basically Baggy notes here that all of these different figures are having these different numbers for how many cases they ordered, which is interesting. Highest for student yet, I believe, Maxmatic down from UI and Super Saiyan Blue, which were around 150. Launch sold a solid number, but unfortunately Gohan is too low. Very, very unfortunate. Kind of makes sense though, because obviously since that Jiren is literally the first Jiren prize figure we've ever gotten, kind of makes sense that they would order a lot of them. So very, very nice. Also, if you would like to pick this guy up, as you can see, US folks, Ami, more stock of the Bam Presto World Figure Coliseum brush in stock. However, they ship from Japan, and Japan Post is still suspended for US, so shipping is going to be a killer. So I'd recommend just wait for a domestic release. But it is good to see that this guy is getting some more places that you can pick him up. If you would like to go ahead and go to Ami, again, I'll link Baggy's Twitter in the description. This might actually be not available. Yeah, as you can see, order closed, dang. But it is cool to see that more websites are trying to pick him up. I actually did get a copy of this guy off of Amazon when he was initially put up on there, so lucky me. But definitely keep looking around for this guy regardless, because he is fantastic. Moving on. Oh boy, look at this Dragon Radar from ABY. Dragon Balls in a radar. Interesting. I don't actually know what the purpose of this is though. It looks cool, but I'm not exactly sure what it does. Anyhow, moving on. Ooh, I am very, very excited to show you this. So if you guys remember a long while back when we were doing the figure news, we did show off that there was going to be a Goku and Gohan figure. I believe this is sculpted by the homie Varrock, a very, very fantastic figure as well. Obviously featuring the father-son duo. Yeah, there you go. Look at the first section, Varrock right there. My knowledge was definitely there. But anyway, here are some pics of the finals. Definitely not bad looking figures. Again, the production images unfortunately always tend to look a little bit better, but Gohan definitely does not look too bad. A very, very fantastic Gohan figure, if I do say so myself, especially since we have basically 0 figures of this particular form of Gohan. And the Goku ain't too bad either. But yeah, definitely not bad. I'm very, very excited to get these guys as well because they are such cool figures. And obviously, it's so nice to be able to get a wholesome Dragon Ball figure rather than some buff boy screaming for a change. So very, very cool. I'm glad to see that this figure did end up turning out quite well because obviously this was a highly anticipated figure by not just myself, but many, many other people. Moving on, HD pics of the Shikashi art. We did also have these Gogeta pictures, but we looked at them already. The Figuarts standard Gogeta packaging, or Gogeta, Jiren, that looks nothing like Gogeta. They always do a really good job on the art for the Figuarts standard figures, so it doesn't surprise me that Jiren's looks pretty good. A lot more basic than I'm used to with Figuarts standard, to be honest, but definitely not too bad. What else do we have here? Just more production images of everything. Oh yeah, we did talk about this GTWCF a while ago. These guys do look a little scuffed though, which I guess kind of doesn't surprise me from WCF figures, but hey, what are you gonna do? Those are the real life pictures of those though. Let's see. What else do we have that's new? I don't think much of anything actually, because the rest of this is just updated scans basically of everything that we've seen up until this point. We saw the sagas. Let's see, I believe that is everything. Yeah. Oh, a better look at the Dragon Stars Janemba. This is also something else that I wanted to cover. Look at this boy, bro. Honestly, this is not a bad looking Dragon Star figures. I've shown my distaste for the Dragon Star series before. I understand that they're more like action figures than collectibles, but I still feel like they could do a better job. But honestly, Janemba doesn't look too bad, and I think that's also because these figures tend to look a little bit better when it's like an alien design rather than a human-ish design. Better look at the Dragon Stars. This is the World Tournament stage. As you can see, this thing looks really, really cool. Again, remember, this is made for Dragon Stars, so there are pieces on here that, of course, you know, work with those figures, and they're also kind of made to scale to that, but I'm sure because Dragon Stars and S.H.Figuarts are about the same size, would still work really well. And we did talk about this in a past video as well, so very, very cool to see that it turned out very well. I kind of didn't have any doubts. All right, moving on. This, I think, is probably the only other big thing that we're going to talk about today. So they did decide to make a Nero version of the Grandista Gogeta. If you guys remember, they have made a couple of Nero versions of different Grandista figures now. They made one of Vegeta where they made him base form. They made one of Super Saiyan Goku where they made him Super Saiyan 3. And now they have done one of Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, and they made him Super Saiyan. That's right. Very, very interesting choice. I do like the positioning of the figure. Obviously, they can't just slap a different hair sculpt on it and expect people to buy it. I mean, sometimes, I guess. But it's nice that they gave this guy a little bit of a sculpting difference as well. Very, very nice. I do like the pose. I wish there was something that you could put in his hand because I feel like this figure is perfect for that. But honestly, the Super Saiyan hair doesn't look too bad. This will probably be one of the better looking Super Saiyan Gogeta figures out there, especially with the Dragon Ball Super Broly design. Of course, the Grandista line is one of my favorite lines. You guys know that if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time. So cool to see that he is getting that. I will say I would have much preferred a base form one just because we don't have as many versions of base form Dragon Ball Super Gogeta, and unfortunately the only one that's like kind of a bigger figure that would be around the Grandista size is the Super Master Stars Peace Gogeta, and we all know how that went, a disappointment. So kind of unfortunate that this one isn't a base form one, but hey, I will definitely take it. It does not look bad for a Super Saiyan figure. I will probably not be getting it just because I have plenty of Gogetas already, but definitely a really good option for any Super Saiyan Gogeta fans out there. Moving on. we do have some more images of the Grandista Gogeta. I do like all the angles that they take for the production images. This is actually a really great angle for this figure. I really appreciate when Bandai actually takes the time to make the back of the figure look good, because obviously a lot of the times they're like, hey, let's just make the back nothing. But it's good when they actually put some time into it, because obviously it's a three-dimensional object and not a poster or a piece of paper. So very cool to see that they did a great job on this figure. I am interested to see a comparison between this one and the blue one. I will say, if this guy is a better body sculpt, I might end up getting this one and then replacing the head and putting the Super Saiyan Blue head on there, because the head should fit on there. I believe the figures that are Nero versions of their original one, all of the heads that are like the same figure basically work, as far as I know, on the original figure and on the new version. So that'll be very interesting to see. Maybe I'll get this guy just for that. Maybe I'll just get this one and then paint the head base for myself. I don't know, we'll see. Regardless though, very nice looking figure. We do have a bunch of November overseas prize figure re-releases, which is cool to see. You know, obviously it's like, oh well, you know, why can't it be something new? Obviously at the time that we're in our world right now, it's a little bit harder to make newer figures, so this is a good time to re-release some old stuff. But they are releasing some older figures that are a little bit harder to get, which is awesome to see. This flying set of WCF, which I really enjoy, because obviously these are just, you know, all the homies flying. And I believe these are based on the side of the Dragon Ball manga. You know, if you like line them all up together, it has all the characters flying in a straight line, basically. I believe that's what this is based off of. So very cool as well on that. Again, same thing here. They're just moving. They're all schmoving. I believe this is based off of the manga as well, so very cool to see that as well. This was an interesting re-release, I will say, especially considering the timing. I did make a tweet, as you can see, in response to this, that this is so lame compared to the Kuji one. Obviously, we talked about the Kuji one 2 videos ago. It was actually the thumbnail for that video. But this is another grade 8 Vegeta figure. This to me looks a little bit more like mid-transformation, because obviously the hair is a little bit shorter, and his mouth, like his teeth and his gums, are kind of a little bit more out of his mouth. So it kind of looks like when he's reverting back to his normal form. I don't think I've actually ever seen the original version of this figure, but I just thought it was kind of ironic that this is coming out when the amazing WCF Ichiban Kuji one is coming out. But he does look kind of lame compared to that one, but I will say it's definitely not a bad figure. Looking at it again, I do think I was kind of harsh on it. And also, this UI Goku, he was one of the first, if not the first, MUI Goku figure to come out when the form was originally released, so very cool to see him getting re-released. I did not get him upon his initial release. His figure just kind of didn't really interest me. It's just sort of a basic Super Saiyan pose, so it's kind of but it's definitely not a bad figure if you're a UI Goku fan. Let's see, besides that, okay, so November, SDBH 10th anniversary UI figures and UI Omen will release. Production images are now blank as of now. Okay, very cool to see. This is part of the line that has given us the newest Super Saiyan 4 Xeno Gogeta figure, as well as the first Super Saiyan 4 Xeno Goku and Vegeta as well. So I hope they do good with these, because a couple of things in all of those figures have been a little bit but I'm hoping, especially if they do Grand Priest Omen Goku, he will look good. Besides that, oh, my mistake, US are getting a 30th anniversary anime anniversary. I said anniversary twice. WCF re-releases. Okay, cool. OG Dragon Ball is definitely needed. Agreed, because we do not have enough OG Dragon Ball figures. Okay, I think now that's really it. Let's see. I don't think that there's anything else new. New Limit Breaker figures. Oh yeah, I mean, these aren't really that big of a deal, but these are the Limit Breaker figures that we went over before that I don't think they look that good. They're basically these big figures that are kind of more meant to be action figures. They're like $20. Nothing really to say about these guys. They look all right. They'd probably look okay on your shelf, but again, they're more so meant to be like figures that you play with. I do think that Super Saiyan 4 Goku looks pretty good though. Again, keep in mind these images are stretched, so I will go over those in more detail when they come out, but it is nice to see that they are giving both of these guys one of those figures, because obviously that line is kind of ever expanding at the moment. And now I'm serious, bro. That is really it, because we're finally at the end. I know I keep saying that every time, but I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you made it to the end, let me know your favorite figure from this set of Dragon Ball news in the comments section below. I always appreciate that you guys watch through these whole videos. I know that they are, you know, sometimes just kind of me talking and rambling about figures, but honestly, that's why I love filming them, because it's just talking about something that I love, and it seems like you guys enjoy them as well. So, without further ado, I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Abing you two out. Peace.